Hey, welcome to Real Time Workflows. I'm MX Bell. I worked on Deadpool and Wolverine, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, 1917, Hobbs and Shaw, Wheel of Time, Little Mermaid, No Time to Die, tons more. What you're going to get in the channel are my pro tips and how I use Unreal Engine to make films. So let's get started. Let's make some stuff. See you down the road. Let's do a quick introduction to Sequencer, and you can sort of get a feel for how it works. Let's jump straight in. So I've got a sequence open. I've made a new level sequence here. We will get to sequence naming in another video. This is named differently than it would normally be, but this is just to demonstrate how Sequencer works. So there's a couple of ways to get things into Sequencer. For now, I will not explain the difference or all the intricacies, but basically if you've got something in a level that you want to animate, these characters are all in a level and I want to animate them, so I'm going to grab them all and I'm going to go add acted sequencer. There we go. Okay, so now they're in Sequencer. Now, what if they weren't in a level and you just wanted them for one shot? Alright, so we've got a character like that. We've got our bike character. Let's put that back. So our bike character is not there. Let's say he's not going to be in every shot. He's only going to be in one. Well, we don't want to put him in a level because when we got to worry about him, if he's in a level, we've got to worry about him every single time. We just want him to appear in one shot, right? We just want him to appear in this shot. So let's throw him in this way. So rather than dragging him into the level, which is how this lot have turned up, let's drag him over here. Now you see he has this little lightning bolt on him. That means it stands for spawnable, and there'll be a video on spawnable and the difference between what these other ones are, which is possessable, which means the level has possessed them from the level sequence has possessed them in the level. There'll be a video on that separately to get into the intricacies of how it works. But for now, all we know is that's the second way to get a character into Sequencer and get them animated. If you're not sure, I'd go with spawnable. So drag them into the Sequencer. When you drag them into Sequencer, they appear at the world 0, which is over here. So that's the world origin. Whenever you drag anything into Sequencer, it appears over there. That's perfectly correct. What it means is that when you close this level sequence down, he disappears. These don't, because they're in the level. So just an important difference to note. Let's open that back up. Here he is again, because he's spawnable. Now actually, that was just an example. I don't really want him, so I'll get rid of him. So let's just start with one of these characters, right? So here's Adam, right? So let's grab Adam. We're going to give Adam an animation. So animation, I will give him an idle. There he is. I'll put him over there, right? So I've done that in the sequence. Now if I close the sequence again, he goes back to where he was, no animation. This only happens when we're in the level sequence. Important to remember, okay? So open the level sequence again. There he is. Great. We're going to do that to all of them. Now, the other thing to think about here is we're at 30 frames a second. All right. We probably want to change that to 24. Usually you want it for 24 if you're working in film. If you're working in games, you might want it at 30 or possibly even 60. I don't know. But 24 is the frame rate of cinema. So stick to 24. And if we open... So let's go with Brian. We'll add an animation to Brian. There he is. So there's Brian's animation. We can see him. He just moved. Let's move Brian somewhere else. Let's move him down over here. Okay. We'll move on to David. Now we can also loop these. We want to loop them. We can offset them by doing this. Let's say two of them are sharing animation. We want to offset them. This is our active range. There'll be another video where I'm going to tell you to not do this with the range. We should start at 1,000, but that'll be in another video and I'll explain why. My excuse here is that this is going to be for a subsequence, which I'll also explain in a different video. David, I should have gone through these one by one. So where's David? David, there he is. Let's put David in there. On the ground down there. Okay, there he is. I think he's going to walk around. Elizabeth. There you are, Elizabeth. she is. Bring her over here. We'll rotate her. And we'll give her an animation. We'll go talking on phone. There it is. Talking on phone. And you get the idea. And that's basically how we use sequencer. How we start setting up shots. Let's add a camera, because that's the defining thing about this is. Well, actually, I'll go and I'll finish adding this lot to the scene, and then we'll add a camera.